Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
Hello, I'm Jake Carter with Felix and Fingers Dueling Pianos. I'm here with Kerri Glover. Thank you so much for coming and joining me on another podcast. I'm so excited
Jake,
to have you
for
back.
having me. I appreciate it.
For those of you that didn't hear the other one we talked about Maui Pineapple Chapel, but we saw such a good opportunity to talk about different venues that Kerri manages and works with because she's a venue consultant, venues all over the country, and then you own Maison Albion in New York. So today we're going to talk about Maison Albion. So anyone looking to book things in New York, that's what we're going to spend most of our time on today.
Great.
A little bit of background. You are an executive level marketing and hospitality executive with more than 25 years of experience. I think you were just mentioning to me that you've got another venue that you're building, so it's going to be 25 venues.
This is number 25. I just signed the contract today.
Awesome. So lots of experience. And then you manage additional venues across the United States and speak to anywhere between 200 and 400 couples a day.
Correct.
So just a wealth of knowledge here. So thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Our last one went so well that I was like, you have to come back. We have to talk again.
Jake?
Yeah. Anything else that you want to bring up about just the location of the venue and things before we get started on some of the questions?
Yeah, Maison, let's see, we built a little mini history of it. It's an 1878 mansion, Italianate mansion, and we bought it about 4 years ago and completely gutted and renovated the property, not remodeled. So we tried to bring it back to its historical standards. We're very lucky, actually. There's a book written about our property. So we're able to do a lot of historically accurate things. Gorgeous English country gardens. We have our own lake about halfway between Buffalo and Rochester. So it's in Western New York, or as those of us in Western New York refer to it, upstate New York. We're about 45 minutes from Niagara Falls, but very popular even with Manhattanites who really want to have a wedding in the country that's very affordable, and then really popular, of course, with our clients in Buffalo and Rochester. But it has a French theme. I made it a French theme because the area was originally settled by the French word, as many of the small towns are around us. They're all French names. So we kind of brought that French flair back to the mansion. And so that's Maison means house or home. So it literally translates to the home of Albion. And we really wanted to design it to be a community center. And it really is the focus of the community. So I feel like we succeeded in that way for sure. It's been a really fun ride building something that I get to make all the decisions on my own venue, which has been really fun.
I checked out your website for this venue just because I was curious. And I noticed, it's funny that you're saying it's been a community space, because I noticed that you guys host quite a bit of community events. It looked like there was like a market for artisans, like an artisan market that you guys are doing pretty soon.
This weekend. It starts tomorrow. We have a French market. It's actually our biggest event of the year. We welcome between 500 and 600 people over the 2-day event, which is a big event in our area. And this is our biggest market we've ever had. We have 65 handmade vintage produce or antique dealers, like a true French brocante, a French market. We have food trucks and pony rides and mansion tours, and it's very gorgeous. It's the prettiest market you'll ever go to, because we create all these photo ops full of flowers and all these fun things. So we've been doing that for the 4 years we've owned it. It's our most successful event that we produce ourselves. On top of that, we also host 10 nonprofits a year, complimentary. We completely comp the venue and our staff to run it. And nonprofits just need to apply, and then we consider them one by one. And we also host a lot of events for the community that are celebrations as well. They're not just weddings.
And so just before we get into the questions and talking more specifically about the venue and events and stuff, because I know you have a very impressive and very long bio, and I've kind of touched on some of the points, but I know that you mentioned to me you're based in the UK, right? Mm-hmm. So do you want to tell me a little bit more about just kind of the breadth of all of these venues and the work that you do?
Sure. So I'm a venue consultant, which means I work I've built, designed, and launched 24 wedding venues. And so sometimes companies hire me to come in and improve their venue, be it through design, marketing, operations, efficiency. Sometimes I build the venue from scratch, doing all the interior design, hiring the staff, marketing launch, financial projections, business plan. I'm also an attorney. I went back to law school during COVID, so I can represent my clients as well in the planning commission. I write their contracts for them, things like that. And, some of our venues that we manage, like once we've worked with them, they have us ongoing manage them. They mean my husband and I, we work together to do the ongoing marketing and sales. Some of our owners are super hands-on and some of them are super hands-off. So it just depends on what it is that our clients want. We've been able to design our own venue. We were very hands-on at the beginning, but now we live in London and travel back and forth to New York. We have an amazing team there that runs everything. So we've really figured out the processes in order to do that. A lot of the owners that I work with are kind of in a retirement age and they don't want to be as hands-on anymore, which allows us to step in and really improve their sales, improve their profitability, and also manage their team for them. So they're just keeping the asset and keeping the paycheck from the venue.
So with all of that experience and having been around all the different venues and all the different parts of the venue, working on planning and like the venue and planning the events, makes for really fun interviews. So thank you so much once again for coming back. I thoroughly appreciate it. So let's get into some fun questions about events here before we talk specifically about your Maison specifics. Albion. What are some challenges that you face when working with couples or event planners, and how do you overcome those?
Let's see. The challenges, I think, working in every market from Maui to Tennessee is pretty much the same. That couples see a lot of things online. They have really big expectations of how far their dollar would go. And especially in the United States right now, experiencing inflation and how much small businesses have had to change their pricing, it really changes what couples can get for their dollar. And so their expectations are sometimes here, but what they can afford is here. So my job a lot of times as the venue and sales manager is like trying to meet those expectations in the middle, or helping them find solutions with vendors that will at least be able to scale what their dreams are. So it's not, it's not a no, it's just a yes, we can do that, but just at this scale because that's more what your budget allows. And then making sure that our venue fits into there appropriately so that they're not what I call venue poor, kind of like similar to house poor, where you make them too big of an investment up front and you can't let the rest of your dreams come true. We want to make sure that they're like getting into the right venue. So I don't say that I come from a place where I'm a very like hard salesperson. I come from a sales background of helpful. And that really works well in the wedding industry. When you come from the place like, hey, I have all this experience, let me help you, let me assist you. Let's see if our venue fits into the pieces that you have here. And 9 times out of 10, you can make it work. But there's that 1 out of 10 that doesn't work. And then they're not the right client for you anyway. And for you, so just let them go. That's okay. There's going to be some other wedding and some other person that fits that date perfectly.
I know it's interesting to talk about this kind of on this podcast, but I know that I have had a similar experience where sometimes you get those and it's just like, it takes so much more work to try to make something work that's not meant to be. You're going to work so much harder and then end up with unsatisfied people on both ends, and it's not good for them and it's not good for you. And it's like, it's easier to just be like, hey, you should go a different direction. Yes. Or like you mentioned, scale. With all the different things that I work on as well, it's also something that we offer is like we can scale from one player. I'll play solo shows, or we can do dueling shows, and we can do dueling, in all kinds of different levels. So I totally understand that. That makes a lot of sense. Very, very interesting. So what is like a really memorable, touching moment that you got to witness at an event that you were on?
Oh, wow. There's so many. Gosh. It's really hard to choose. I would say, honestly, for me, especially at Maison, I guess I go back to my venue and give an example because I definitely witnessed a lot of weddings there or been a part of. We come from the point of being a yes venue, right? So I've definitely worked with a lot of different kinds of venues. Some venues are no venues, like they love their rules, they're right up front about it, they're mostly say no to everything, and they like to be very restrictive. That's totally a vibe. That's, totally completely up to the owners. we generally work with and create yes venues that have like major flexibility for their clients. Not only do we feel like this approaches a wedding in the correct way, allowing clients to step into the space and design the wedding the way they want to, but it also reaches this generation of engaged couples that really want something that's unique for their day. At Maison, we've had so many wacky, fun, emotional, because we've allowed our clients to do literally whatever they want. That's, as long as it's not illegal, they can do whatever it is that they would like to do. So I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, but we've had a wedding where we had a llama as a groomsman. We had a wedding actually recently that was really sweet. They had it during the eclipse. And so they had their wedding outside, taken all of our rugs out of the mansion and set up a whole picnic ground for all their guests out in our circular garden with picnic baskets for all the guests with all these goodies to snack on while the eclipse happened. So they were like sitting outside and like they're in the dark in the middle of the afternoon. And it was like a very magic moment. But it's what the couple traveled, I think from Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, all the way to Western New York because we were in the path of the eclipse in order to have their wedding there. And we were able to like make all their dreams come true, whatever they wanted, moments like that are really important to us because we feel like, it should be designed how they want to. And I mean, having a picnic at 4:00 in the afternoon, no other wedding's done that. It just makes sense for the eclipse,
Yeah.
We've had animals in weddings and we've had special cars driven onto our property. Couples have come in on horseback. We've done very religious weddings at our venue because we're so large. We can do things that allow for different kinds of respectful religious traditions where for example, we had a Pakistani wedding where the ladies are separate from the gentlemen and they had entirely separate receptions that we were running simultaneously. Because in their culture, they don't mix during the reception. So our venue is very unique. We actually pipe and draped between two spaces so they didn't see each other, but we were able to share the restrooms. I mean, it was very, very cool. Again, like flexibility, providing what it is the client wants. I think those are really touching because they see that we're bending over backwards to make their day amazing, what they want.
Yeah. And just like thinking about like some of the things that you talked about and having looked at the videos on the website of your venue, it just looks like such a fairy tale kind of place. Like I can totally see the cars and like the horses coming in. Like it's just so gorgeous. Like I totally see how that makes sense and works at that venue. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, with all of that being said and talking about being a yes venue and wanting people to do all these things, this question just kind of came to me because I'm very curious to see the answer to this. What is something that came up that you had to be like, no, I'm sorry, you can't repaint the outside of the venue black. Like, no, what are some of the craziest things people have asked for that you're just like, no,
we had a client ask us, we have like a terrace outside of our ballroom that's about 5,000 square feet. It's massive. It's like a half circle shape. She wanted us to repaint all of our gravel white, like physically paint the gravel for her wedding. We were like, but at our expense. So honestly, if she had said like, I want to have the gravel painted, I'll pay for it, we probably would have said yes, but she wanted us to pay for it. So we actually looked into the pricing and it was like $8,000 to do. Yeah, it's not really going to work. I'm sorry.
Like just walk through with a sprayer? Like,
yeah, like literally paint the gravel. She wanted it to be white.
Huh.
So what we did as a compromise is we took all of our lawn furniture that needed to be, all of our iron lawn furniture that needed to be repainted white anyway, and spray painted it on the gravel. So like the offshoot of that paint fell onto the gravel. So it was like a lighter color. It just wasn't like universally white. And she was pretty happy with that. So that's what we did as a compromise. But I'm like, I can't. She wanted us to like take the gravel and wash it in white paint. Like it would have been like atrociously expensive.
Fully white, like
right? Because you couldn't. This was kind of just after COVID. We couldn't even buy the supplies. We couldn't even buy the rock that looked like what she wanted. It was like not available. So she wanted us to whitewash the gravel. So yeah, we tried our best, and she actually was pretty happy with it. It looks really white in the pictures. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. Is there anything else that's come up that you had to say like absolutely no to?
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else. Honestly, we say yes to almost everything. I can't think of anything. No.
I know, because I'm thinking about it from my perspective, and I know that I've had requests for things that I'm just like, you're not being serious, right? But I can't think of any of the like times when people have asked for things like that.
I know.
Um,
I can't think of one that said no. It's been very, I don't know. We just want to make it happen if we can. Yeah.
Randomly, I mean, this isn't event related, but the only thing that I can think of is I used to work in aviation. I'm gonna try to be vague about this, but I used to work in aviation, and I had a guy that got extremely upset because he wanted to get on a plane that the brakes were broken and like leaking brake fluid onto the ramp, and he was like, "No, I want to fly. Like I want to go to where I'm going." And we were like, "No, like I'm sorry, like
I don't want to die today,
what?"
so no.
Yeah, it was like no one else is. The pilots aren't going to get on that plane. Like, and he was very upset and very demanding about it. He's like, "No, you need to take me to." And it's like, "I'm sorry, sir. Like, no, you're not. No one else is going to die on a plane because you." And I was like, "Do you want me to show you?" And we walked out and showed him. We're like, "Look, do you see the brake fluid on the ground? Like, it's not going to go well for anyone." Like,
Yeah, I would say
so
anytime it was like a safety thing, we would say no, but we haven't had anyone approach us that we couldn't do something safe. I mean, even when they want fireworks or something, we have a licensed gentleman who can do a fireworks show over our pond from the island. Like, yeah, we can do pretty much anything. We've got a guy for that, you know, or a lady for that. Yeah.
that's amazing. So, what is something that you do to stay up on current trends that are going on in the wedding industry?
I would say like I immerse myself in wedding media, of course, social media. I manage something like 39 social media accounts right now, so I definitely like I'm very engrossed in what the trends are happening online. But of course, I read like wedding mags and blogs and such. However, I would say my best source of wedding trends is actually talking to the 200 to 400 couples I speak to a day, because they give me things. They share Pinterest boards, and I'm like, well, that's hot. I love that idea, you know. And so it's I don't know, that's fun. I also do some time like use my old event planning skills to do productions at our own venue. We call Maison Productions, and then I design them myself. That gives me a chance to dive back into like what's going on right now, you know, what's trendy, what can we do that's kind of new that our people in our area haven't seen. So that keeps me kind of abreast of it as well.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You basically live, breathe, and eat events and weddings. So I
That's all I
all the
do.
people
Yeah, exactly.
like they yeah.
And I have such amazing
So
teams that I can like text, message, and be like, look how cute this is, you know, or I get my husband into it too, and he just gets nuts. I mean, my husband's a really big romantic, which comes in handy working in events. So I'll send him like a wedding video or something. I'm like, look at this gorgeous video, you know, we just got shared, and he'll be like crying. He tears. He doesn't even know the people. He's just a softie. So that's
I
fun.
just love them so
He's
much.
like, but it's so good, you know?
Awesome. I love it. That's great. I feel like that's also fairly true of most people that I've met in that do events and weddings is like people that do this kind of stuff just love it. Like we
Yeah.
love the party. We love the like the special moments. Like everyone is always just like, "Oh, look at what they
Yeah.
did. Like this is so cool." And it's like people you don't know. Like
I know. You
means
don't
nothing,
know. Whatever.
you
It
know,
doesn't
but like
matter.
it's cool still. Like
They're
yeah,
still like they're taking this jump. They're, you know, saying they love each other in front of all these people, and they're subjecting themselves to like a very emotional day that's expensive, and it's a lot. And they're doing it because they love each other, and they can't help but like scream it out loud, and that's really touching. Whenever I'm training a new staff member, like interns to event directors to wedding venue directors, they always ask me like, "What's the best time of the day?" And I'm like fluffing the bride's dress if there's a bride and sending her down the aisle, or, you know, sprucing up one of the grooms and sending him down the aisle, and then you see them like walk into their forever. That's like you're part of that special moment. It's like being at a birth. It's hard to like not forget all those couples that you sent down the aisle, and like, you know, we stay friends with them. I'm friends with some of the ladies and gentlemen those weddings I've planned like when I was a wedding planner, and they've had babies, and you know they have life. I get to see all that happen. I know as a part of the beginning. That's really special.
so
You
cool.
know, we're very lucky to work in this
Awesome.
industry, the business of love, as I say.
Yeah. Before I start asking you about like just the general specifics about your venue, like I have asked about my Pineapple Chapel last time, are there any
Sure.
things that are unique or special about your venue that we haven't touched on yet, other than like, you know, capacity and things like that?
Yeah, our venue is really special because it's a true like weekend or week-long venue. We are very popular for entire weekend weddings because our venue is so large, and I've designed the venue specifically to have a whole bunch of different, very unique spaces. One of the coolest things about our venue is like you can come have your rehearsal dinner in our intimate garden, have your wedding ceremony the next day in our great lawn, have a reception in the ballroom, dance on the ballroom patio, and then maybe have your Sunday brunch in the secret garden or the circular garden. We have all these different spaces that we've designed so that you can keep your guests really excited and interested and create completely different events all weekend. So I'd say that's something that I'm really proud of. It's not all venues have that kind of flexibility and diversity. We also have a lot of authenticity at our venue because there's so many historical elements that are so cool, which are really fun to give site tours for, because people who are history buffs or love anything old, they like super geek out on it. Like me too, I love old stuff. So it's really fun to give the tours there.
That's awesome. So with full weekend kind of events that you guys put on, what is the lodging like? Do you guys have
Sure.
space for people to stay?
We do
Or
actually.
is it
We have
in the town
four.
around?
Yeah, we have 4 bed and breakfast rooms in the mansion itself that you can stay in, and we serve fabulous French breakfast for those guests. We also have 6 glamping tents, so we can house up to like an additional 36 to 42 people in those 6 glamping tents on our property. And then nearby, within 12 driving minutes, we have more than 100 hotel rooms. Some of them very high end, some of them very affordable. It's a great range of accommodations, like really close by. My favorite is when we host like couples who are like Manhattanites or from, LA or whatever the case is, because you see all these people wandering around their high heels and like petting the cows across the street and like stuff like that. And they just love it, like more than anybody. So it's really fun to see them, and they love the small town charm. We're located in a town that's like a Hallmark movie. Like literally they could shoot a Hallmark movie.
I was
there.
just gonna say it's like
Your
a
little
Hallmark film.
storefronts. Oh yeah. Oh my God. It's such a Hallmark movie. It's insane. It's so cute. And so we're very spoiled. It's a very healthy, vibrant town. And so they can come and they can plan like all of these fun events for their guests in town. And they have this like completely Hallmark moment. And we're also a destination for week-long events like conferences or really week-long true events that people want to come, family reunions. And there's so much to do. We're also on the Erie Canal. So there's like, and on the Lake Ontario. So you can, have all kinds of boating, fishing activities. There's just a ton to do in our area. So we're very spoiled. It's a great location.
That's amazing. And now I might be getting myself in trouble here because we haven't talked about these questions ahead of time, and I don't
That's
know if I'm
okay.
putting you in a bad spot by asking. But like, do you guys do tours on like with boats and like fishing excursions and things
We
like
can
that?
arrange
I mean,
all
because
of
I'm
that.
just like, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. We can arrange
Wow.
all of that. We have partners to do all of those things. So we've arranged those for sure for our clients in the past.
That's super cool.
It's fun.
Can I just come stay there for a while?
Yes,
Because
Jane,
like,
you're totally welcome. You totally can come stay. It's
I'll
really
play the
pretty.
piano for the guests. It's fine. Like,
Oh my
I'll
gosh,
play
Jake,
piano
that grand
during
piano is just
brunch.
waiting
It'll
for
be
you.
great.
Totally. Oh, I
Oh
would
my
love that.
God. Just the resident like piano. You're like, who's he? Oh, that's Jake. He lives
I
out
love
in one
that.
of the
That's
tents
Jake.
over there.
He's a permaglamper.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. So to the speed round of the actual logistics
Okay.
for people listening and wanting to book the venue.
Great.
I know we've touched on a lot of things already, but what is the availability and flexibility? Like, how far out do people need to book? How
Yeah.
available are you guys?
We're super available in what we call our off season. So like November to April, we actually offer pretty great discounts because we're in an area where like, May through November is like the wedding season. So if you book outside of that season, we have great availability. In season, I would say you want to book at least a year in advance. For October, it's more like a year and a half in advance. Like our October 2025 is getting very close to sold out already. We're in April of this year, 2026 reservations as well. Fall in Western New York is like gorgeous, We have our own forest on the property, so the leaves changing are just like epic. We buy like 300 gourds or something and put them all over the property, so it's just like a fall experience. It's like super gorgeous, and so we're super popular for that. So I'd say about a year and a half in advance, if you're in wedding season, is a good measure. in wedding season, sometimes we have some great dates that just open up or whatever the case is. Or if you don't mind a weekday, you can book us anytime.
So what is the average event size and cost at your venue?
Sure. I would say average event size about 120 guests. We have the capacity for 299, 300, but most of our weddings are on. Our costs range from $5,000 to $8,000 for a site fee for the day, and that includes access from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Our staff that sets up and shuts down your whole wedding, tables and chairs inside and outside on our property, and then access, of course, exclusively to the mansion. So gorgeous getting ready spaces for the ladies, for the gentlemen, movie theater. And if you decide to stay overnight with us, which is a bit of an add-on, you could have a late night event until 2 a.m. in either our speakeasy or in our billiard room, which is really fun. I know. So lots of really fun options there. Most of our couples, book, an overnight and a day. So they end up spending between like $8,000 and $9,000 with us about.
That is so cool. I want to, now I have to see the pictures of the speakeasy. That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah. We don't really have a lot of photos of it online. It's because it's hidden in our mansion.
It's a speakeasy.
Yeah. You can't find it unless you know somebody who knows where it is. It's definitely hidden.
Oh my gosh.
It's really cool.
That's so cool. I love speakeasy bars. The coolest one, and I won't get too sidetracked, but the coolest one I went to was in Milan.
Cool.
It was a crazy experience.
You have to send me the name. We love Milan, so I'd love to go check it out.
Yeah, it was the hardest to get into and find speakeasy that I've ever been to. Like the end of the story, I ended up on this patio of this what looked like a restaurant that was closed on some random dark street in Milan where I don't speak Italian. I'm just like standing here in this dark after I'd walked up the street 3 or 4 times. And like, I'm just kind of like looking around and this dude behind me is like, says something. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just said the word, the secret word to get in. And he's like, okay, push the button. And I like pushed this button, walked into this fake dark restaurant. And then there was another door. It was crazy. You had to answer like multiple riddles that were all in Italian. It took me a long time to it was intense. It was really cool. That's cool.
Amazing. There's a really, really cool one in Manhattan. If you guys ever visit Manhattan, it's called Little Branch. And it's been a speakeasy since Prohibition. And you have to register and get a password. It's really hard to find. It is truly authentic. And they have a jazz trio that plays in there like every night. It's just, you can only order at the bar through emotion. You can't order a drink. You just tell them the emotion you're feeling. And then they serve you a drink that matches that. It's so cool.
I could sit and talk about this for so long. One more since you said that. I just was in Prague, and they have a really famous speakeasy there that you order by ink blot.
And, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, so that was really crazy too. Anyways, back to your venue. You have a speakeasy. Very cool. Love that. What is the deposit and cancellation policy?
Sure. Actually, we're super flexible on that. We normally ask for about 25% of whatever you've selected down, and then you make interest-free monthly payments up until 60 days before the wedding. So basically, we finance your wedding for you at no cost. We also offer a 10% paid in full discount. So if clients have the cash and they want to take advantage of the discount, we offer them that as well. But for some of our clients who are working on a much stricter budget, we can offer something as low as like $1,000 or $2,000 as their first payment and then break up the monthly payments from there. We just want to make sure it works for them and they're not overwhelmed by all those big reservation fees they have to make right up front.
Do you have an in-house catering service, or do people have to provide their own catering?
They bring their own catering. We work with any professional caterer or food truck that they prefer. So we work with, we see every different kind of wedding, which is great for, especially like, weddings that have a lot of like diversity and like a different background. Like you could work with a kosher caterer at our venue who cooks at a kosher kitchen off-site and serves at our property. Things like that are hard to find. We host a lot of Indian weddings, Hindi weddings, and they have specific caterers they want to work with, and a lot of venues aren't open to that. And we are gorgeous, beautiful weddings at our venue. They're so full of sparkle.
So speaking of that idea, do you have a preferred vendor list, and do you require that people use them?
We do have a preferred vendor list. These are we call them our party partners, and they're amazingly vetted. They do a lot of events at our venue. We trust them. Our clients trust them, but they by no means have to use them. We're not restricted that way.
What is the maximum capacity of the venue for both ceremony and reception?
299, just under that 300 mark.
So based on the fact that you said people can stay overnight, I'm assuming that there's a designated bridal suite as well.
We have a bridal suite, a bridesmaid suite that are right across the hall from each other. So we actually, ladies have actually the whole top floor to get ready in. And there's the additional bed and breakfast rooms too. Tons of space to get ready. And it's like the bridesmaid suite's inspired by Marie Antoinette's apartments at Versailles. So it's like super gorgeous, over the top. 5 makeup stations, really beautiful. The gentlemen have the gentleman's lounge that we built for them, was the original cigar room of the mansion, and the billiards room and movie theater downstairs. So loads of room for the guys. We have vintage video games and poker table and 1940s pool table. So fun.
So that sounds super fun. Is there any noise ordinances or curfews to be aware of? I know you said things end at 11 unless they stay overnight, and then it's 2.
Right. And that's really just for our staff and their time. But if you have an after party till 2 a.m., that's fine as well. If you've had an event, luckily our only neighbors are actually, it's only farmland around us, so we don't have any neighbors. So that's really nice. If you have an event outside and you want to be like rocking it till midnight out in the Secret Garden, it's totally fine. We just let our one neighbor across the street who loves us, we love him. It's a love situation. Just let him know we're going to be having an outdoor party. But he claims to have never even heard of an event at our venue, because we're so far apart from each other. So we're in a very remote location. Fortunately, it's very private for our clients.
It's awesome. So for day of coordination, is there an event coordinator or manager on site during the wedding day?
We actually have an event venue director, and then she has a whole staff that she manages. So there's event techs, we have assistants, all kinds of things that really run the day. However, we work with wedding planners all the time, and we highly encourage them, especially for weddings that have more than like 100 people. We don't require them, but we highly encourage them because they can really focus on like the design aspect of the wedding and all those details execution. Whereas our team's in charge of making sure that the wedding's set up and shut down properly. Vendors have everything they need. The wedding party is pampered, things like that. So it's a balancing act between all of vendors.
So I know that you mentioned that there was a special offer for listening to this podcast, and it's 2
Right.
complimentary wedding upgrades for any new signed clients that mention the podcast, worth up to $1,000.
Yeah. We have
Awesome.
really amazing. We have 5 pages of wedding upgrades you can do at Maison that include everything from like a beer barrow. Like we can have a mini donkey serving beers at your cocktail reception. We have magicians. We have a 1952 MG that's red and gorgeous. Her name's Ruby. So you could have her out there to drive you down the ceremony or have the pictures, all kinds of fun things. Farm tables that we've had custom made for our venue. So there's lots of upgrades, and if you mention this podcast, we'll give you whatever 2 you choose for free.
It's amazing. So go get your beer burrow, get it, have it. It'll be so much fun. Such a good idea.
He's the noisiest bartender ever. He's funny.
Amazing. Amazing. I know we talked a little bit more about farm animals in the last podcast, so if you haven't checked that one out, go listen to the Maui Pineapple Chapel podcast that I did with Kerri. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on today?
I don't think
that you
so. I
wanna
really
chat
appreciate
about?
you having me here, Jake. And
Awesome.
yeah, it's been really fun to talk about my venue.
Yes, I would love to see it. I think we need to book dueling pianos
welcome.
there so that I can
Totally.
go.
Oh my God, that would be such a fun event. Everyone come from all over at our venue to see
Yeah.
dueling pianos. They'd love it.
Oh. We could do like a public event. That'd be a fun
Yes.
thing. I'm just
100%.
putting it out there. That would
No,
be
they'd love
super
it.
fun.
It'd be super
Yeah.
fun.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to potentially our next podcast. We could do a whole series of these about all of your venues everywhere.
Thanks, Jake.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.